With us it's all or nothing. Ooh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you just leave. With us it's all or nothing.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another unicorn party prep. My daughter is having her third unicorn birthday party for her 5th birthday. I also would like to thank eFavorMart for sponsoring today's video, but I'll have a little bit more on them later. So yes, you heard that right. This is my third unicorn birthday party theme that I'm doing for my daughter. So if you like unicorns or you're thinking about unicorn party, I have 2 other unicorn birthday parties on my channel, and I'll have them linked below as well. So we are starting off, I tried to break this up into days, as you saw the little unicorn prep day 1, so that you can see what I do on each day. Basically, I've been ordering stuff for a while now, and a lot of times if I find something that I like that's like the right theme, I will save it for later in my cart, and then when it gets closer to the date, just go ahead and check out in case I want to change anything or change the color scheme or anything like that. But 3 days before, I like to start baking my cakes. I'm not a baker. I use box cake mix. I do make my own icing though, so stay tuned for that recipe. Thank you to all of my subscribers who convinced me to start doing my own icing. I used to use store-bought icing and have the hardest time decorating my kids' cakes, and everyone was like, you have to make your own. It's so easy, and it's much easier to decorate with them. So that's why I started making my own buttercream icing for the cakes. So basically, I had a vision to do a 3-layer cake and to try to do different colors in each layer. And then my daughter loves rainbows. She also loves disco and unicorns. So that's where I got the cake theme from. She wanted another unicorn party, and she wanted to add disco to this. Her second unicorn birthday party that she had, we did a unicorn taco party, also her invention. So we made this vision come to life. So stay tuned to see how it all came together. The first part of this video is basically a lot of baking. So if baking isn't your jam, go ahead and fast forward to later on in the video. But I like to get my baking out of the way first because it's stressful, and I like to refrigerate my cakes after I'm done baking them and they cool off, so that the next day when I do the icing and the decorating, it's just much easier and less of a mess to deal with than making cake and icing in the same day. I will have all of my cake supplies, everything that you see in this video that I can link, linked down below. Also, we are using King Arthur's gluten-free funfetti cake for all of the cake portion, and then we're using King Arthur's chocolate for our unicorn cupcake cones. So after my cakes have cooled off in the pan for 10 minutes, I let them sit on the cooling rack until they're nice and cool. Then I wrap them in plastic wrap and refrigerate them overnight. So now that that portion is done, also on day 1, Chris is putting together these amazing arches. I would always see these in like bougie birthday parties, and I'm like, where do they get that from? Do they rent it? Like, what is going on? And I was so excited when I found eFavorMart, because they have everything that you need for your parties, like all of this amazing decor to really up your party game. I'm so excited that I found eFavorMart because it's a one-stop party supply shop that brings all of the most Pinterest-worthy event planning dreams to life at wholesale prices. As you can see here, I didn't even know that I could have this at home without renting it, and now I'm so excited because we have it for all of our holidays and all of our parties, and they sell individual different covers that will just go over these arches so that you can customize any party, which is amazing. Basically, almost anything that you could possibly think of for party supplies, eFavorMart has you covered. They have all of the essential items like balloons and table linens, all of that stuff, but they also have show-stopping statement pieces like you see here. You're going to be seeing their stuff throughout all of my video, but these really like stole the show. I really do have so many statement pieces though, like the striking balloon and floral arches, unique backdrops, and even champagne stands. There's over 10,000 products to choose from, and orders ship within 24 hours. I could not be happier with everything. Like I said, you're going to see everything throughout this video. But just it really did make it feel so much nicer. Just like all of the different decor that they had to choose from was unlike any other places that I've ever shopped from before for parties. And since we do have most of our birthday parties at home, as well as like all of our holidays and stuff, Chris and I usually host, so I'm really excited to have all of these pieces that I can just go ahead and customize and change out for the next party. Like I said, you're going to be seeing eFavorMart throughout this entire video, and I'll make sure to point out which items are from them. But if you want to take your parties to the next level and support my channel, click the link down in the description box and use code Tiffani for 15% off of your first order. So back to some more baking on day 2. I'm glad that we got on day 1 like the cake baking done. I didn't want to make these too far in advance because I thought the cones would get soggy, so that's why I did it the night before the party. And then I'm also glad that Chris got like everything put together, like all the structural pieces for the backdrops and stuff that you saw. So baking these, again, I just used a gluten-free King Arthur's chocolate cake mix because I like to have chocolate for those who like chocolate, since the cake is vanilla or funfetti. So while they're cooking, I'm just making more icing, sifting the powdered sugar. Please remind me to get a new sifter because this one took forever to sift. This is just something that I've had forever. But yeah, I'm sure there's like better ones out there because literally I had to have Chris take over at one point because my arm hurt so bad. So now we're on to our next batch. I'm going to show you how high to fill them because the first batch I didn't fill them high enough. Again, this is gluten-free mix, so maybe if you're using non-gluten-free mix, halfway is good enough, but I needed to fill these up a little bit more than halfway. I baked them on 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. You got to check them. You can usually smell when they're done. So now I am making more icing. What I did was 2 sticks of butter, 4.5 cups of powdered sugar that I had sifted, 2 tablespoons of clear vanilla. If you don't use clear, you're not going to have like a white cake icing, I guess. Like even if you're adding color, I feel like it just makes it look a little bit dingy if you're using the regular vanilla, but that's just my opinion. So this time I went ahead and ordered clear vanilla. And then 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and that is how I made this. If you're making it yourself at home, the recipe might not be exact to mine. For some reason, your consistency might be different. If you want it creamier, add a little bit more of heavy whipping cream, and that will make it creamier and less thick. If you're decorating like piping and stuff, you kind of want it a little bit thicker so that the sugar stays in the icing. I'll have my recipe in the description box below, but yeah, basically it's very, very simple. You just have to have a mixer. Even if you have a hand mixer, that's fine as well, but you can definitely make your own icing and it tastes better. I had been feeling like store-bought icing tastes like chemicals for a while now, so I'm so happy that I finally started making my own. So what I do on day 2, the day before the party, is I do my crumb coat. So I'm basically just wanting to cover my entire cake. The first time I icinged it, as you'll see here, there was still like a lot of cake showing through, and I didn't like that, so I let it sit for like a couple of minutes just out on the counter, and then I added more icing, and then that did cover the whole cake. That was the first time I really experienced that. So yeah, this is the crumb coat. Then I'm going to put it in the fridge once it's all covered for 30 minutes. You can do it for longer than that even if you want to do it the night before, you could do it like that. But that's just how I did it this time. So the cake completely covered and then refrigerate it for 30 minutes, and then we can do our actual like decorating. I'm not a baker at all, and I'm still learning. Every single time I make a cake, I learn something new. The one thing I will teach you, if you're making your own icing, please, please, please make sure you just have a ton of powdered sugar, a ton of butter. Like, you have everything that you need to make more, because you need a lot of icing. Like 2 sticks of butter doesn't go that far. So just make sure you have lots of extra butter and powdered sugar, vanilla, and heavy cream, just in case. So now I am coloring my icings. You know that as a mom, I try really hard to keep my kids away from food coloring, but on parties, like, that all goes out the door. It's a special occasion. The natural food coloring that I've used so far does not work at all for the colors that I'm wanting, so I did just use like a regular food coloring for this. I watched a million videos on how to like make like a rainbow type cake, and this is what I came up with. Just spreading each color where I wanted it, like in a nice thick layer, and then using the tool to kind of just scrape it all off. And I also saved all of my extra icing to use for the unicorn cone cupcakes. Another little tip here is I could sit here for hours, maybe even an entire day, scraping this cake. Don't overdo it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a perfect cake. It's whimsical or rustic. That's what I always say, because none of my cakes are even close to perfect, but they're perfect for my kids, and that's what it's about. So I hope they always remember how their mom made their cakes for them. Also, in my party prep videos, I always like to say this, because I know that some moms work outside of the home all the time and don't have time to do all of this. So I am blessed enough to work from home, and whatever kind of birthday party you throw your kids, I am sure they will be happy with it. I know if Ella invited some loved ones over and some of her close friends, and we ordered a pizza and sang happy birthday to her, she'd be just as happy as she is with this party prep. But my kids, we talk about their birthday parties before bed, like every night. They talk about what theme they're going to have, what they want at their birthday parties. It's just what I always talk to them about, because my mom did things like that when I was little, and I would get anxious before bed. She'd be like, let's think about something happy. So we'd talk about something like a birthday party or something we're looking forward to. So that's what the kids and I do. So I always say our birthday parties are like our Super Bowl, because we talk about it all year long, and then the big day is finally there. Just something silly that we like to do in my family, and I thoroughly enjoy doing this kind of stuff. I will say, if the kids are home, like while I'm decorating the cake, it's a lot more stressful, but Chris had them at his mom's house swimming, so I'm able to solely concentrate on the cake at this point. I don't care about being there when I'm baking or any of that, but like I need them to like not be in the kitchen with me when I'm decorating, because I get in the zone. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good, because I have a lot of extra icing, and I did not feel like making more icing, and I was really happy with how the cake came out. I will go ahead and do a close-up and show you like all of the details of the cake, but I wanted to just get all of this like baking and decorating out of the way first, so that I could concentrate on the rest of the party. That's just like how I function. I can't be all over the place baking and decorating at the same time. I've learned that when I do that, I'm up until like 3 a.m. the night before parties, and I hate it, because then I'm a zombie at the birthday party and not feeling well and just not in the moment. So I try my best to be able to go to bed at a decent time the night before a party. Officially everything is icing, so I'm feeling a lot lighter because that is stressful. I ran out of one icing, so I just had to go ahead and eat a cone. It was all good. So I'm using this gold shimmer fondant to make unicorn horns. You basically just roll a thin layer, cut into little pieces. If you want them to be exact, then do them exact. I wasn't that serious about it. And then you basically make a U shape and then twist, and you have your unicorn horn. Next, I'm just using this black icing in this little tube here. You can buy it at your grocery store to make my lashes. And I will say some of my unicorns slept in their mascara and it shows. Some of them are crying, but it's fine because no one cares. They just care about how it tastes. Honestly, I could not be more happy with how everything came out. Like, I love when a vision just comes to life, and I really love decorating the cakes with accessories. That's like my favorite thing. So, amen, we're out of the kitchen. Hallelujah. Get me away from the icing and the cake. I'm over it. So now we are moving on to balloons, which is the second most tedious thing. I always like to do this ahead of time. So I have a balloon pump, which makes my life so much easier, and I'm just blowing up a ton of balloons for our balloon arch. So I know there's a million ways to do this, but what I do is I just use the balloon tape, I think it's called. It has a little hole in it, and you stick the balloons through the hole and pull it down to the smaller hole. That just is what works best for me. A lot of times I like doing color blocks, but this time I just mixed all of the colors together. So basically I wasted my time putting up this like backdrop stand, this black one that you see here. I've had this and I used it for like a lot of parties, but I just didn't like how the balloons were sitting on it, and I didn't like how the backdrops were looking. So this is a custom backdrop from Prettiest Girl Party. I love her. I've been using her stuff ever since she messaged me on Instagram because I love a good custom backdrop. So she makes all kinds of stuff. Definitely check her out. I'll have her linked below as well. But I just didn't like how it was looking on the stand. So basically right now I'm wasting my time, and I wind up putting it on the wall the following day, which you'll see. But this is all about, just seeing what works and what doesn't work and what you like and don't like. Now, this beautiful backdrop was a showstopper from eFavorMart. I just had to figure out how to get it on by myself, and it's funny.
My socks falling off. Hot mess.
I was feeling a little frazzled at that point, as you can see, but I wound up doing this, just laying it down and putting the cover on, basically like a pillowcase. Again, be sure to check them out in the description box below for my 15% off code. But this is so gorgeous, and I just can't wait to use it again. I didn't want to take it down. It has beautiful sequins. Also, if you want to just use the circle, you can use the circle frame and like put flowers around it or put your balloon arch around it. There's so many different things that you could do with it because it's huge, as you'll see, and it could be a beautiful piece for pictures and a backdrop. My mom took a picture with all of her granddaughters with this. It was just really cute. Now just putting the rest of the covers on the arches. It was so easy. This portion isn't sped up at all. You can see it literally takes me 5 seconds to do. I ordered these like little unicorn decorations to hang from stuff, and they were supposed to be like dangly, but literally they were not good. I had to like wind up cutting the gold foil and the silver foil to make them shorter, and it was honestly like a waste of money. They were not doing what they were supposed to do. So usually I do this the day of the party. I wipe down the island and set everything up just because I'm always worried about like the kids touching it, especially Everly, who is only 2. But I decided that they would just eat their meals, their breakfast basically, because the party started at 12:30, that they would eat their breakfast in the dining room. But I loved having this set up and ready to go that day. So I'm just wiping down the island and putting down some really cute linens that are also from eFavorMart, as well as if you're having like any type of disco party, eFavorMart had so many disco balls. So all the disco balls that you see in this video, all of the linens are from eFavorMart. These adorable little unicorn cupcake stands are also from eFavorMart. I love doing these because they're just so easy to assemble and they're perfect for when you're doing different themes. I also have like clear acrylic cupcake things that I use for different parties, as well as cake stands, and eFavorMart sells all of that acrylic type stuff too. I always do a number balloon above my cooktop over on the hood here. That's just like a staple. I did it in the old house too. So blowing up the 5 balloon, I literally just cannot believe it. And also I'm dizzy from doing that because ever since I turned 35, I just get dizzy all the time. No, honestly, it was ever since I had kids. I like just constantly get dizzy. Like if I spin around and stuff, I get dizzy easily, I should say. So all of the plates and cups and utensils are, guess from where? Yep, eFavorMart. So again, I'll have everything linked down below. Alright, it is the day of the party. I am adjusting the backdrop and the balloon arch. I promised myself to go to bed at a decent time so that I could be awake and feeling good for the party. So I wound up going to bed at like 11 the night before. Usually I do this the night before, but I knew that I just had to go to sleep and then I would do it in the morning. So I'm using 3M strips to put this on the wall. And then whenever I put up my balloon arches, I kind of just tie one end of it to my staircase and then just use tacks and tape. There's nothing fancy or special. I usually tie like a little string or ribbon around it to help stay up, so I don't have like a good method for that. That's one thing about having the stands that makes it easier, but when you're putting it on your wall, it's definitely harder. Now that my kids are a little bit older, they always want to help, which I love, as long as it's not helping me decorate the cake, because like I said, that stresses me out, just being 100% honest. If it's like for like a holiday or whatever, it's fine, but when it's like their birthday party cake, I don't know why, I just get like so stressed about it. Anyway, they are helping fill the piñata, and then they're going to help me with the goodie bags as well. Another little tip that I have for you with the goodie bags is we never fill them all the way up. Like, I'm sure the parents are like, great, another pair of sunglasses and some bubbles that my kids can spill all over the place, or some slime. But anyway, we don't fill them all the way up. I hand them out when we do the piñata, so they put all of their piñata candy in it as well. So just a couple of things in the goodie bags, and then they fill the rest with the piñata candy. Another little tip is I always love to have a table with the goodie bags out and the piñata on it, because the goodie bags and the piñata are always the theme that you're doing anyway, and it just, one, you know where everything is, but also it looks so cute and it looks like, you know, part of the party decor. Another thing that really helps is when it's a child's birthday party and you have like a schedule in your head. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can kind of tell when the parents or the kids start getting like a little bored or antsy. So I like to keep things moving, and then people can stay as long as they want and hang out. But I like to have like everything moving, like as far as, okay, food is here, now we're eating. When food is done, we are doing an activity. My mother-in-law was an elementary teacher, and she found something on Pinterest that she loves. The reason I say that she was an elementary school teacher is because she loves this kind of stuff and she lives for like the fun little activities to do with the kids. But she saw something where it's like musical chairs, but it's musical buckets full of water so that the kids can get wet in it. Since I did tell everybody to bring like their bathing suit and towels on the Evite, which is what I always use. I just do like a free Evite on my phone. I don't do like invitations and stuff, like actual physical invitations. But they had like a blow up that you'll see a little bit later that had water on it, like a little water slide. It was actually much cheaper for us to buy a new unicorn blow up than to rent the water slide, so that's why we did that. But anyway, that was a hit, that game. So we did the water blow up and the musical water buckets, which she just got from the dollar store. And that was hilarious. Like, everybody had such a good time and all the parents thought it was amazing. So after that, I was like, okay, it's piñata time. And then we did the cake inside because it got really hot out. And just kind of keep things moving. And then we all just like kind of sat around and talked and chilled. But then everybody feels like they can go if they have to, and they don't feel like they have to wait. And then they can stay if they want to just hang out and talk. So anyway, I'll stop blabbering. That is what I like to do. I also loved setting up these like arches out back here. And the greenery we already had on the wall. You might have seen my DIY like little coffee area video, but that was not part of the party because I do know that people buy greenery for parties, but it does work out nicely to have it there. And since this is Ella's third unicorn birthday party, I did have some old banners that I was able to use, some unicorn lights. I used her gold frames with her pictures in it as a baby. I even used her old unicorn sprinkler, which did like crap out in the middle of the party, but it's fine. I loved these little like tablecloth holders from eFavorMart because it kept the tablecloths down. Also, the disco balls and the flowers are all from there as well. And then I always like to have an activity, which I forget. I literally forgot to do this, but the kids just did it by themselves the evening of the party. But it's like pin the horn on the unicorn. It was so fun and hilarious. I even did it. But if you want to see like how the actual party is and what it's like with everybody there, go ahead over to our family channel. A birthday party vlog will be up in a couple days on Beaston Family Vibes. So this sign I think I made on the Cricut for her taco unicorn birthday. And then I also had these unicorns from the dollar store from her other unicorn birthday. So I just put them up over here. I think I did that at the unicorn taco party too. My mother-in-law found them at the dollar store and grabbed them for me. But I'm loving how everything came out. Now I'm just cleaning off this space for beverages. We have acrylic ice buckets that we use for all of our events. And another little extra thing that I do that actually makes it just look really nice is I take all of the labels off of the water bottles, and it's incredibly extra, and if you don't have time, don't do it, but it does just make it look prettier. Another thing I like to do, you see that these are like themed unicorn kids seltzers, like little seltzer waters. They kind of taste like, my sister-in-law said they taste like pink Starburst, but it's a very light taste. But anyway, I like to like put that out as part of the decor too. So if you have like a theme that like your snacks or your drinks are part of it, I just set a couple of them out and then I put the rest of them in the ice so that you can see, you know, the cute little unicorn theme. Another thing that I recently started doing after I saw one of Carter's friends' moms do this is she had baskets full of individual bags of chips, and that's so much better for kids' parties especially. But also I noticed that like when you have like a big bowl of chips, like everybody's crowding around the chips, it's so much easier to just grab your individual chips. So this works out great. And then if you have leftover, you just throw them back in your pantry instead of throwing like leftover chips in the garbage. So I do love this. Obviously, when you're doing like chips and dips, you could just do individual bags of tortilla chips, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep doing big bowls of tortilla chips and salsa, and try to have like multiple bowls so that everybody doesn't have to be around the same bowl. But I also noticed that at children's birthday parties, the parents barely eat. So I decided to do kid-themed food, and obviously parents can eat that as well. So we ordered pizzas, we ordered chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A, we had a pretzel tray that had different dips with it and also had like the hot dog wrapped pretzels, and I had a big fruit tray and a veggie tray, and then I just bought desserts from Wegmans to put out on the little cupcake stands so that people, when I just did like chocolate chip cookies, little brownies and things like that. I used to kill myself baking cookies and little desserts and stuff too, but cupcakes and cakes is plenty enough, and then just buy it from a store and it still looks pretty and the kids love it anyway. So definitely like doing the kid themed food and just ordering like little desserts, and I think that everything looked really pretty and it was perfect. So here is just a little overview so you can see how everything all came together. Another tip, I'm giving you all my tips and tricks in this video, so I really hope that they're helpful for you. But I know it's hard to be done in time for the party, but my rule is to be done an hour before the party starts. So like start getting ready, make sure that you're fully ready an hour before the party starts so you're not upstairs doing your makeup when your guests get there. And then we set our camera up for a self timer to do a family photo in front of the backdrop, because I know that once people get here, there's no way that my kids are going to be like staying in one spot taking a photo. So I know that's hard to make happen, but if you can make it happen, that's a great little tip. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out eFavorMart and use my code Tiffani for 15% off of your first order. And if you want to see how I cleaned up all of this, stay tuned for my next video on Sunday. It's an after party clean with me, and I'll show you how we cleaned up all of this. So again, thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you on Sunday.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul, I'll be there. Never leaving you in the darkness, even when you're out of focus. I will be the light in your life, you'll see it clear. I'll be your inspiration, 'cause I know that you'll do just what you're told. I'll be your heart and temptation.